For the coach's comment, we catch up with Paul Eberhardt, the head coach of the men's basketball team at the Langara Falcons. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good.
I wear orange for you, you orange for me. This is a
Absolutely,
Falcons thing, right?
Got to sport the Falcon colors, man.
How are you holding up through the whole pandemic? This has got to be, obviously it's strange for everybody. For you particularly, you've been coaching for so long and there hasn't been anything to coach.
Yeah, it's been a bit weird, like from a basketball point of view. It's the longest I've ever been out of a gym since I was a teenager. So, we're talking over 40 years. The longest I've ever been out of a gym from March up until the end of September when we got into, with our Langara squad, we got in at the end of September for some like phase 2 practicing. And then it moved to phase 3 and we were getting excited. And then it stopped completely. And then we realized we were going to have no season. And then we just started up again a couple times a week with phase 2.
So guys aren't getting on the floor and you're actually getting back in the gym?
Yeah, we just started this week. Last week. We got in Tuesday, Thursday, and going to get again in this week as well. Just skills and drills, all the socially distanced phase 2 stuff.
Have you been able to recruit players? Because kids aren't playing. Obviously, you've had kids on your radar, but have you been able to recruit?
It's been very bizarre.
Yeah.
I like to, when I recruit, I like to see the players play, like not just watch tape. I like to physically see them, and I like to meet them and go out with them and get to know them a bit. For me, that's always been really important when I recruit. And we've never had like international waivers at Langara to recruit international players. So this past year we got that. So we were allowed to recruit international players. So that was just brand new for me entirely. I mean, thank goodness for my assistant coaches, in particular, Joey Dillon, who was really good at social media and finding all these players. So we ended up finding a player from California, and he's up here with us. And there's a player from Texas who's here with us. And there's a player from Pittsburgh who's still in Pittsburgh. He hasn't been able to get his student visa yet. So from that perspective, it was brand new for me anyway, recruiting, outside of the local area. But within the local area, it was really tough because no open gyms, no one-on-ones, nothing. So we kind of had to recruit based on what we knew and sort of what we saw in terms of video. So it was a bit slow going, but we ended up, I think, with some pretty decent local guys.
But from the standpoint of the Americans, the kid from California, Texas, and Pittsburgh, you said you don't like seeing guys on film. Is that the only way you've been able to recruit these particular players?
Yeah, the only way is to see on film. Obviously, you call and talk to their coaches to find out about their character. You do a lot of talking on the phone, well, actually a lot of texting. Right. And, like I said, my assistants did a great job we had this huge list, right? And then we just started talking and cold calling and finding out who might be interested. It was really, really kind of a new process for me, but I liked it. It ended up being kind of interesting.
So this might be the wave of the future for you.
Yeah, I think, the way our league has gone, if you look at it, really in order to sort of compete, most schools were now bringing in international players. Like VAU's always had that, waiver for their players. And so they've always had, their 3 and, they're usually their 3 best players, right? Douglas the last few years became very strong. Well, they became strong because, of a guy like Courtney Anderson there. Again, they're international players. So, I prefer to have local players to be honest, but we want to compete at the highest level, and we had to expand our recruiting base. And luckily, our college was granting us those waivers. You see, in the past, I'd get tons of emails, texts, whatever, from international players, from American kids who wanted to come up and play. I was like, well, you can come, but you got to pay this full international fees because we don't have any scholarships. So, so now it's a bit more exciting because we have that opportunity to add those players.
Getting away from the basketball court, what have you been doing to pass the time?
Well, it's interesting. When COVID first came, we were very lucky because, I'm really involved with the high school game as well.
Yeah.
And we just finished the provincial tournament. And it was also the 75th anniversary of the tournament. So it was a really big deal. literally just as we finished it, I came back here to work. I work in West Vancouver running the sports academies out here. And we were supposed to go away. Believe it or not, I look after our robotics team. It's a whole other story. But our robotics team was supposed to go to the World Championships in Louisville. And we were literally just about to leave. It was Thursday of the last week when we had to cancel everything. So from that point forward, initially during the pandemic, I had all these projects I was going to get done, right? I'm going to do this, but I just found that was really hard to get motivated. And so, it's been good in some ways in that, I've been around more. So, the wife has, I think, appreciated me being around more, but not all the time. But it's been weird. I'm so used to, hey, the weekend's here, get my suit on, put my tie on, let's get out to a game. And it's just been weird not having that. Lots of Netflix, lots of binge watching during COVID. And then just, we did a bunch of work around our house, which I think a lot of people did. That was kind of what I'd have done during the pandemic. Now I'm back at work at school. So that's at least given me, something to do. But I tell you, when I get in that gym, even though it's not the same, even though it's, phase 2 or maybe phase 3 with all the COVID restrictions, I feel at home again. Yeah. I really, really do. So, for me, even just from a mental health standpoint, it's been important to get back in the gym. And I know that it is like that for the kids too. My Langara guys, even though they'd like to do more, you can just see when they come, they really want to be there. And they want to do extra individual workouts. And so I think players and coaches, we've got a greater appreciation for how lucky we are that we get to do this. And by it being restricted, I think we'll appreciate it even more.
Who do you think has been harder on, you as coaches or the players not being able to play?
Man, I think it's probably kind of equal. It's a different perspective, right? But I think for the players, it would probably be worse. I would think so. Because, I can still, I watched a ton of video. I did some video editing and did some virtual clinics. And, I'm doing a virtual clinic coming up this weekend. And so I think for players, it's probably, because I can at least get a bit of a fix that way. But if you can't get in the gym, if they're all locked down and the weather's not, it's winter, you can't really get shots up, you can't play. So I imagine that, and I can just tell from talking to my guys that they've probably been going kind of nuts. Yeah.
So what now? What do you have a clinic this weekend? What else are you doing to keep yourself busy with practices?
Yeah, I'm still trying to be optimistic. We're practicing right now 2 or 3 times a week during phase 2. February 5th will be the new announcement for sport. We were able to get college and varsity sport changed because initially we were part of the order that we were considered adult sport, right? And we couldn't do anything. So at least they recognized that playing at college university is a little bit different from beer league soccer, right? Because we have all the safety protocols. I'm hoping when February 5th comes that we'll be able to go to phase 3 and have competition. And I don't want to. It's so many times I've gotten my hopes up that this was going to happen and that. Right. And it's so fluid; it changes so much. But if possible, if we were able to end of February or March, have some cohort play, and have little scrimmages with Cap and Douglas and CBC and UBC and Fraser Valley, sort of the local area teams. If we were able to do that, I think that's the best we can hope for. And so that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. We all have our fingers crossed for that. Coach, thanks for doing this and stay healthy there in Vancouver, and hopefully we'll be on the floor sooner than later.
Yeah, you bet. Good talking to you, buddy.